Hi there, and welcome to the Shero's Collective podcast. I'm your host, Renee Sparks, and we are in Series 3, Women Authors. And in this episode, we get to meet the phenomenal, multi-award-winning author and poet. She's an executive director and publisher at Shofar Books and the founding director of Poets Vannie Kaap. And we've recently heard that name. The Poets Vannie Kaap came up in a few episodes ago with Jacqueline Mart. So here's the woman behind it. And our Shero for this evening is none other than Haroldene Tshienda. She is also the host or hosting the first Cape Flats Literary Awards, where she'll crown 135 literary artists on the 6th of April. So we're hoping to hear a little bit more about that. So that is now in 2024. She's also an author of 8 poetry collections, and 4 of the titles were selected to be placed in libraries within the Western Cape in South Africa. She won an award at the Cultural Affairs Awards and 3 honorary awards at the AfriCAN Honoree Authors Awards. So wow, it's a mouthful. So I'm hoping you're going to unpack all of that. And then she's also performed her poetry on stages such as the Provincial Parliament, 1 Billion Rising, Artscape Theatre, Alexander Theatre, the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown, and many more prestigious platforms. Above all this, and I have to say, when I read this line, I was like, what? She's the proud mother of 4 amazing humans. And I think that is such a beautiful way to end your little welcome, because it's a big welcome. And then to add it on such a personal level, it's really beautiful. So welcome, Haroldene. It's lovely meeting you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Is there anything you wanted to add to your intro?
No, I think I'm also a wife.
Okay. Please give
They
him
call me.
flowers.
Yes, I call myself a midwife. Because I've helped birthing a lot of aspiring writers and established authors with books. So I call them babies because that book that you publish, it helps you to grow and you even inspire and unleash more stories. So I call it a baby. A lot of babies.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's a different way of thinking about it. I can imagine it is quite a process for any
Yeah.
author. I mean, we've had a few authors in the weeks leading up to this discussion, and it's been amazing. So yes, and I've also been privileged to be part of a group. We are collaborating with 4 women from different parts of the world. So there's one from Kenya,
Lovely.
one from Nigeria, one based in the US, and myself. And we actually were fortunate enough to be given a year to kind of work together around writing.
Wow.
So I can imagine.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so there are people with your big heart out there that helps to grow others in terms of their passion.
Yeah.
So I want to start off with how your relationship, or how and when your relationship started with writing and with books.
Sure. Between 2007 and 2008 was one of the most darkest times of my life. I do respect psychologists in their professions and counselors, but in my moment that time, I needed something more, and I couldn't get satisfaction from just going to counseling and just sitting there and talking. I needed some action, advice, to help me, because I was so lost. I didn't know myself at the time. I've been in an abusive relationship for 9 years and married for 7 years. And in that moment, I lost custody of my children. I was homeless, and I was blessed to get another job in that time. And because of the job was so far from home, I was at work 2 hours earlier in order to jump the traffic. And sometimes I didn't even have train fare from Paro side. Then I had to jump the train so that before the securities comes with the tickets and so forth. So I would leave very, very early in the morning to jump all that. And in that 2 hours before I start working, was the time that I started to write. It's like a voice that I heard that says, so still like mist, write, write. And I didn't know, must I write in the laptop, must I write in a book, or where, but I started to write letters to myself in that 2 hours sitting on the steps, waiting for the boss to open up. And I just started to write, and I started by writing letters to God, letters to me. Am I existing? Why am I existing? Why did I lose my children? Why die beloftes wat die Here aan 'n mens gemaak het in die Bybel? Why is it not manifesting? Why am I stuck in a place of that I don't even know how, because I've never been poor in my life. I've never been struggling or begging. And in that moment, that is when writing really started. So for me, it started with healing. It was my counseling. It was my friend. It was the time when I felt, okay, this is it. I can only write what I feel. And amazing enough, what I felt after I've been writing a piece or a letter, I felt so, I can breathe. It was like, I get life. There's some energy coming. And because of that satisfaction, I just continue starting. And that is literally how my writing journey started.
That's really amazing. You are not the first person that I hear your writing comes from a place of pain, but it actually brings
Yeah,
such a lot of joy. So I think it's something,
absolutely.
it's really something, that acts as a catalyst. But I mean, it could go either way, right? So that's a really, really
Yeah,
positive outlet.
true.
And way of empowering yourself, but also now in your capacity, where you're
Yes,
publishing for others and helping others, you've actually extended that type of piece to someone else. So you've actually
indeed,
already
yes.
touched on your process. So that was your process then. Now that you
Yeah.
are the lady that's publishing, how do you create time for yourself to write without having that 2 hours and whatever anymore? What do you do?
Yes. I still believe we don't write to make money. I don't write to be seen or heard. I'm still using, it's still a healing method. It's still my time out. Whether it's writing, reading, editing, it's still, and I work seldom on my own craft because the business keeps me very busy. But I do make time, especially when when I start writing, I write the best place for me to write is the space when I'm unhappy, and I need to figure out how will I be happy again. Overweight, how will I be thin again or healthy? Um, there must be something wrong in order to put me to stand still to write. So ek sê altyd slaap is overrated. So I sleep less, I eat less, and that is the time when I write and spend time on my craft. And there's also time for writer's block. I have 8 books published, but for me, it's not an achievement. It is just part of my testimony. It's part of my testimony where I've been and where I am now and the journey. Because I can't write same way that I've written my first book. There must be elevation, there must be change, because I have found myself. I have taken the all the steps that all the things that I've learned and the seasons that I went through. It crafted me, it made me into a better person. And now development is actually a lifestyle for me personally. Because if I don't learn, I feel, oh, ek is not too comfortable. The anti-devil can me gou kry. I need to get out of this very quickly. And I always say that yesterday's blessing is today's news. Every day is a new day. Every day we get up for a reason, and if we don't find that reason, um, you might as well just stay in bed. But we need to get up. Doesn't matter how hard it is, doesn't matter how tough it is, doesn't matter how blurry the lines are, you need to get up. And as a writer, I do make time. My family, the business, keeps me busy the whole day.
Yeah.
And now it's even extra because it's the awards, the planning of it, coordinating of it and everything, including the people that I'm bringing on board to assist me and help me. Poets Vannie Kaap, friends and my family, they are helping me planning the event. But for me personally, it is extra because I need to make time to get the word out there. It's the first Cape Place Literary Awards, so it's something that I've never done before. It's things that I need to learn and research and find out. But my mom always said, and I think it's Oliver Mtukudzi, late Oliver Mtukudzi, if you're not an artist at heart, if you don't inspire someone with your craft, then you have to quit, because you can't for yourself inspire in niemand anders, because we are not made to be by ourselves. We are human beings to inspire one another, to learn from one another, to uplift one another. So that is I do make time, but it's my time is not during my family time. It's when they are sleeping. That's when I start getting creative.
Yeah.
And that is one of my best. It's also my quiet time, because I believe when you are quiet, even if it's night when family are sleeping, for me personally, if I'm alone, when I isolate myself deliberately from the cell phone, from the internet, from soapies, I can hear the voice of God speaking to me. Do this, do that. It's just, I can't explain it, but it's something inside of me that draws me to something, and then I will do it unapologetically, and it will manifest what I have sacrificed for that moment.
Yeah. No, that is fantastic.
I have
I
worded
love
it.
the way. No, but I love the way that you've unpacked it, because yes, your journey started in a certain way. And I mean, those were deeply personal letters to yourself. Have you published those?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask. So
Yeah.
are those some of the things that you have published?
Correct. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So that I
Yeah.
was actually
For me,
having
it had to
discussions.
be published.
Yeah.
It had to be published. Sorry for that.
No, no, no.
It had to be published. I never spoke in my first book really about rape,
Mhm.
but as I was writing, the things that I kept inside of me, the enemy, or I will say the devil, he is your boss when you keep things inside of you, because he will use that very thing that's inside of you to control you. He will put fear in you, and you always have that anxiety. So if you write, you don't need to tell someone how you feel and that is bothering you. You can just write it. And for me, that alone is a breathing moment where you can let go and let it be. Sometimes we want to be bosses of our own stuff, but you need to let go, because that is expired.
Yeah.
It's time for you to let go of it. And we carry burdens that is not even meant for us to carry. So it's almost like mathematics. You just need to learn when to let go, when to let it move. Of chess ek on with chess in my lewe gespeel nie. But it's almost like a game. You can't keep things the whole time by you. You moet ook kaarte speel and let things go, so that new things can start developing, new things can be birthed inside of your spirit. I mean, for me, that is one of the main things why we are really alive.
No, that's beautiful. So in the beginning, your things were about pain. Do you think, like, because you're speaking now about growth and maturity and being molded, do you think that your stories range from that place of pain to something else? I mean, very often you kind of associate an author with a certain thing. Is yours
Yeah.
a bit more broad?
It's strange that you asked me that question. I did poetry the other night in Cape Town, and one of the participants asked me, "Do you only write about pain?" Um, forgiving and healing is a journey. It's not a once-off thing. It's not an overnight thing. I'm not gonna say I have made it. You know,
Yeah.
I have managed to get it behind me, but the journey still continues, because we live in a life where you get triggered
I was going to
by
say
by
the
by
triggers,
many
yeah.
things. And then you ask yourself, why do I feel so vulnerable? Why do I feel so hurt with this thing? Um, I have healed. I have overcame a lot of pain and hurt. Olivia,
Hi,
um,
Olivia.
she's singing what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Um, for me, it is simple that I there are so many broken women
Yeah.
that has never had the opportunity to raise their voices, or had the opportunity to talk about, or even deal with their hurt and their pain. And God would not put me through that experience to keep quiet for me. there's every day women get abused. Women are treated unfairly in their marriages, in their families, with their in-laws, even with their children, their bosses. Women are overlooked. They don't, man, ons het immensely strength. There's no one that can compare to a woman. The fact that the pain that we can endure during childbirth alone says that we are the most strongest independent, because jy kan maar 'n man het, but a man can net sien wat jy deurgaan. He can't feel it, but another woman that went through it can feel it, you know. And even if you're not a mother, you will be able to experience the same pain. And for me, we are just a different breed, and no one and nothing can compare to us. And for me personally, as a woman that went through the fire, that went through the downhill and found my way up again, the strange parties, it was mostly men that came to my rescue in the time when I needed a woman to stand up for me, to feel for me. And that's the reason why I'm changing the narrative in different formats, because as a woman, I want to be there for a woman. That's why my ministry, my work that I do, the writing, is to get women out of that pain, to get children out of the pain, because women and children, we are linked. We give birth to them, whether they are ours or someone else's. There is just some connection. We are wired differently. That for me, it is, I don't know how to say the word, but for me, and as a poet,
it's okay. You're showing us you're human. Thank you.
You know, I can't just write for myself. It is for other women that I'm writing and sharing my story, but also for men, so that men can see what they actually really do to us, how they really treat us. But I also write, to answer your questions more, when ek praat alweer te veel, is from a place of happiness, because above the pain, it was a man that comforted me, that helped me heal and find healing and finding myself. Maar jy is eintlik sterk, but you are actually, you can do this, you know, you can do it. It was a man that said, you don't have the qualifications, but I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, you know. It was men that opened the doors for me. So for me, men can also benefit from my writing, because it can help them to be better men. And we must never forget them, because they are important, you know. But I do write about love. I love writing about love. It's a good medity. But I do write about my own love story, finding another husband, not finding, God gave him to me. And I'm raising a son. So I love being a mother is difficult, but I love being a mother. I would not change it for anything. I would not want the easier way to be a mother. I love who I am, because there's no one else like me. I am not the same mother as my mother was, or as my sister is, but I am Haroldene. I am a mother of 4 children, and I'm trying the best to be the best for them. So I do write about happiness and joy and love and faith and hope. And yeah, that is but the majority of my writing is about it, because as an activist, I do fight for justice and equality, you know. And hoe kan 'n mens nou oor liefde skryf as jy moet fight for justice, you know? So those are that's my field, and that is what I love, and that is what I focus on. And I think my power comes from telling the truth, raising my voice, and stand up for, not just for myself, but for women and our children's children.
Yeah.
One day they will read what we had to endure, where they can make the decision after reading our work. But my mother did that. My aunt did that. Haroldene did that. I will not go through that again. I will choose the other way.
Yeah.
You know, so I love writing, and there's lots of genres to write. But for me personally, that is my way of standing up for a sister.
No, beautiful, beautiful. I love the fact that you brought in equality, because when I was looking at who you are, I was like, okay, here is a woman. She is publishing other work. I'm seeing a lot of women on your website, on your Facebook page. Yeah. Have you purposefully gone with the idea to uplift women and the girl child, because I've even seen teen publishers, and that blew me.
Wow.
So yeah, have you made that kind of part of your advocacy when you started this publishing?
Absolutely. And before I even knew it, sometimes you're just in a journey, you don't even know what you're doing, but you're doing it. Others see the purpose, but you don't connect. I went to Zimbabwe in 2016. And we went there. I partnered with a Afro soul artist and collaborating with poetry and music.
Oh.
And we went to Zimbabwe regarding early child marriages.
Mhm.
And it was surprising to see how children are getting married, our parents feeling cursed if they get boys because the girls will bring them lobola and money. And for me personally, I think it really originated there. Not just because I have girls, that time I only had two girls, but I think it started there that woman, why is nobody talking for these children? I'm coming from South Africa to Zimbabwe, but yet we have the same things here going on in South Africa, and abroad, and globally. Um, so for me, it started there, but I also realized with my children, and I look at the lives of my children and my mother, the mixed races um and also my nieces, how they have been through life, and even the boys, the things that happened to them when they were young, because of most of the time the decisions that we as adults are making. So I needed to change things, man. And even though I still went through, because remember, I didn't have custody of my children. Um, and having not your daughters with you 24/7, it can drive you crazy. I, at the moment, thought that I'm going crazy. I was told that I am a lunatic, that I am crazy because if you don't see your children, I want my children.
Yeah.
Children, you're going crazy because you don't know. No, they are keeping the kids away from you.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're doing. You don't do drugs. You don't do alcohol. What am I crazy? And I had to know that I'm crazy because that's so on, but it really, if you don't have your children with you, you are losing your mind. But I
You're
thank the Lord,
constantly
He kept
worried
me
until.
sane. He kept me sane. And I remember it was one day in a train, and it was hartseer. The pain that I carried, it felt like it's going to tear me completely in half. And it's like a voice that I also heard that says, use this time. And I loved listening to Focus on the Family, CCFM, on my phone, in my with my earphones on the train. And it's like, focus on yourself, use this time as the university that you couldn't go to. And I thought, what? I've never heard this before. So every moment that I got, when I drive now, where I get whatever chance I got, it was my training moment where I will learn and research and read. As I think I fell in love with libraries then, because it gets research like nobody's business. Just how to be a better person, how to endure when someone said you're fat or you're ugly or you're a nuisance. How to navigate through that, how to take it, and use it, um, and crush it if it's not meant for me. Those are the times in my lonely times that I used to actually be better.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've learned, and I'm still doing it.
No, fantastic. So it sounds like you've taken all of these lessons, and this is kind of why you're honing on the empowerment or amplification of women and the girl child's voice, which is fantastic. I don't think that there's enough of it, and I was very encouraged. I mean, you spoke now about race. We know what it's like being of mixed descent, just how you
Yeah.
struggle to navigate spaces like that in the first place.
Yes.
But to have someone who comes from our own ranks, who's done something and is looking at uplifting. And obviously we're not only saying you only uplift a certain race. Clearly, I've seen you open to it, to everyone. But I just want to highlight that for me was something that stood out. And really, really a proud moment to be able to see those teenagers that stood
Yeah.
there with their books, you know, and there was a
Yeah.
young girl, I can't remember her name now, but I saw that she had published her second book. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. I mean, when I was your
Layla.
age, I didn't even think something like that was an option. And
Yeah.
here you've created those options for people. So well done, and
Yes.
thank you for that. It is something that
Yeah.
we need. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, fantastic. Then you have mentioned, and I have mentioned at the start of this introduction, that you'll be hosting this event. So please tell us about it. It's the 6th of April, 2024. I've seen that, but tell us a little bit about that. Where was this birthed, and what is it that you're hoping to achieve with it?
My company is hosting its 9th year. It's our 9th anniversary this year. And I always go to awards and attending awards or receiving awards. And I always thought there's something that I need to do that is different, you know? There's a lot of people that gives awards just for nothing.
Yeah.
But I felt like in my experience as a poet specifically and as an author, when I'm invited, please don't ask us money. But you will invite a singer, but you will pay the singer, but not the poet.
Yeah.
Or come share us about your book, but we don't have money, but you will pay the person who does the MC. And that confuses me and it hurt me because we are all artists, literary artists. And why must there be a difference? We are all equal. We are sharing our art. And you are going home motivated, you know. And I have a lot of friends that writes music, and they play songs just for themselves, and sometimes it's even sang in the churches, in their groups, and so forth. But nobody give them awards, or they just happy with that one person. It's like someone published a book, and that book is just for themselves. They don't do nothing with it. So I was planning to host just for Shofar Books authors.
Yeah.
But then I opened the call because I received a lot of inquiries about how can they be part of Shofar Books, but their books are already printed. Can I sell their books? Because when they heard that the books were selected for libraries and bookshops, they felt like, oh, they also want to make use of the services, but they're already published.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, this is a great way to actually get their work, and see what it was done, why it is not selected, why is it rejected. So in partnership with Poets Vannie Kaap, I asked them the directors, to assist me with the selection of the winners and literally review each and every book that we receive.
Wow.
Poems as well, for the Cape Flats to choose our winners. And it was literally birthed there. That is where the Cape Flats was actually birthed, because I can't call it now Shofar Awards,
Yeah.
because I'm including other publishers,
Okay.
or clients as well, and individual published authors. So I felt the need to, and also journalists are overlooked, and they get awards. Like the other day or last year, they were they hosted a big event for journalists within the zone, I think.
Yeah.
But what's so strange was there was also lots of journalists that I know, but I didn't see them there.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, oh, something else needs to be done. And they are bringing us stories. They are bringing hidden stories to life, to the ear and to the eyes. And I needed to change that. And that is why Cape Flats Literary Awards were actually birthed. I registered the name, not even to make money or anything. I just wanted to be registered and do it legally,
Okay.
because it needs to grow from here. I need to create a legacy. I always tell my authors, write what you want to read, on the if you don't see on the shelves. And I wanted to create a platform for authors to keep on writing, because if you're writing your work, it's not going anywhere, you feel despondent,
Yeah.
you feel discouraged. So I created this event to acknowledge writers for the work. That's why it was not authors awards, it's literary artists.
Yeah.
Anyone who does research. We had COVID behind us. There's trafficking. There are people who write recipe books. There's so many literary artists. So we need to acknowledge them. We need to bring them to light, and that trophy will inspire them to write more, to help others to unleash. You're not gonna get those trophy and let it. I'd say the other day and let it put it on your shelf on your cabinet like a 21st key. You must use that, but
Yeah,
what only means 21st key? Absolutely not.
yeah, exactly.
So use that trophy to inspire and unleash and unlock stories that has never been told. And
Okay.
even if it was told, each one story is unique. It
Yeah.
matters. We matter. And we are at war in South Africa and abroad. Our pen is our sword, it's our gun, it's our weapon. And if we don't write to heal, to uplift, dan moet jy maar ophou skryf. Because that is our mandate, to unite, to uplift, and to heal. That is our mandate as writers.
Okay, wow, fantastic. So it sounds like hopefully we're going to be able to follow this event online. So even if it's
Yes,
not
yes,
live, the posting of the pictures and the telling of the stories,
yes, yes.
because obviously I think you sold out is what I've seen on your,
Correct,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
A
So,
month
so
already.
watch the space. You're going to have to follow Shofar Books on Facebook. Do you have any other social media handles? Like Instagram?
It's only my personal one, Haroldene Tshienda, and then the Shofar Books, and we will also live stream it from our Facebook page, Shofar Books.
Fantastic.
So
There we go.
if
6th of
because
April.
we have authors in other provinces and other countries that will not be able to make the
Yeah.
event, and we still want to include them and families.
Okay.
So one of the ladies said her father is very ill in bed, and she's looking after him 24/7.
Yeah.
So he can, and he's the one inspired her to write. So now he will be able to watch it live streaming
Fantastic.
and see her getting her award.
That's fantastic. Wow. You do absolutely incredible work. Please continue and please keep amplifying the
You.
voices of everyone else that reaches out to you and comes through your doors. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very much.
much for sharing the time with us. I do have one last question for you. I know we got
Okay.
the time here, but what tips do you have for any new aspiring writers thinking about picking up that pen and sharing
Yeah.
these stories?
Procrastination is completely out of hell. Do not delay it. There's never a right moment, there's never a right time. You just need to start writing. Don't write for, don't think about the title, how to start. Just write with whatever comes in your mind. Um, Writing is not only just to tell stories and for healing, but it's also it's for leisure and to educate. So just write is right. Write whenever you can, whatever you can. If it's just one word per day, it will follow. Don't think about editing, just write. Get the story out. You can always edit it afterwards, because that is the process of a writer. Everything must be perfect in that first sentence, and you forget everything that you wanted to say. My tip is to write, and don't look left or right. Just write.
Well done.
Like simple.
No, but it is. I mean, I've had a few writers say the same thing. It's about just take their time and do it. And even if
Yeah,
you think it was a nothing, it's something. So thank you so much
yeah.
for your tips. Thank you for the work you
Okay.
do once again. And we look forward to catching up and seeing what you are doing, the amazing collaborations ahead. So yeah, thank you very much, Haroldene, for your time.
Thank you, Renee. Thank
Yeah.
you for having me. It was lovely.
It's a pleasure. And to anyone listening to the podcast, please like, subscribe, and follow. And it's about this network of amazing Sheros, women who go out there and do their absolute best. And it's not for the recognition. That is exactly why we have this platform. It's women who do it irrespective of whether you know them or not.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Bye.